Imagine if an SJW got a hold of this stream right now. Oh my, we would be blacklisted.
We're canceled. We're canceled.
Of course, yeah. If Kenobi's a jumbled mess like that, a lot of fans are. It's not going to be good.
The guy with the guy in the cloak with the hood. You know that.
Again, a lot of people, a lot of people are really mad about that, man. Hello, everybody. I'm not muted. I'm not muted. Welcome back to another edition of Late Night. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, my co-host, Grand Moff Rissman. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm grand. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. Many a thing to talk about. Not including or not limited to Star Wars, but also Avatar, which you just got out of.
I did.
Give us like a 5-second synopsis, if you just like.
Wow. So I told a few other people as I was waiting for the Uber, what did you think of it? I was like, well, I have 3 words to describe Avatar 2, and those words are absolutely fucking amazing. I
demonetized right off the bat.
Oh
yeah!
No,
Let's get going. Let's do it.
I got it out of the way. So I mean, it was a movie.
Don't blow your load yet. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there at the end of the night. We're gonna talk about Avatar. I'm very excited to talk about it. But want to say what's up to the chat. Big what's up to Scott Westbrook for $5. Says here's a $5 to help keep the lights on. I'm old and going to bed, so I'll be watching the replay tomorrow. I guess that's the thing about the late nights, huh? Yeah. They're fairly late at night. It's 11:30 for you right now. Am I correct there?
It is, but I'm good. I'm ready to go. I'm jazzed up.
He's got the power of alcohol.
I just saw a 3-hour and 10-minute movie. So
did you nap? Like you said you were going to nap?
I couldn't. How could I close an eye in that movie? Not possible.
All right. Well, Scott Westbrook, thank you so much for the $5. This one's for you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your generous contribution to
X-Wing.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Just wanted to say what's up to the chat. I see everybody in here. Ronnie is here. Brian is here. Obviously, Scott is here. Dennis D, good to see you. Philip Hawkins is here. Leia Rose. Matt Rissman, always in the chat, even though he's in the stream. Nathan Emmert. K. G or G. I never remember. I think it's K. G. Ronnie, Daisy Blossom. Maria Espino, my good friend, is in here. Good to see you. Who am I missing? Lance Mala. Good to see you, brother. And I think that's it. So, hello, welcome. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. And John Graber, of course.
Still very short.
Good to see the compacted awesomeness that is John Graber in my chat. Darth Wizzy Wizard is here. And then, how could we forget the alien? Paul Blunt for Canadian 279.
I wore it. Just my work clothes just for Paul Blunt.
The best dressed man on YouTube. You look like you're going golfing. I'm not going to lie. You look like you would be comfortable on golf.
It was my work clothes.
All right. Well, let's not waste any time. There is a lot to talk about today when it comes to Star Wars. There is a lot. And I wanted to start with something that I saw on Twitter today that I feel like didn't get enough traction for what it was. So there's a guy named Fluke Skywalker who's basically just, he's like not Mark Hamill, but a Luke Skywalker parody account. Deals at Mark Hamill all the time, never gets a response. Got a response today because it is the 5-year anniversary of The Last Jedi, and I saw something that was very interesting to me, and I was thinking about making a video about it, but nobody was talking about this. So Fluke Skywalker says, hey, at Mark Hamill, since it's the 5th anniversary of The Last Jedi release, do you have any anecdotes or memories from making the film you'd be willing to share? Have you changed your mind about anything after these past 5 years? And would you have done anything differently? Thank you. And then in classic Mark Hamill fashion, we get not really, a little, yes, you're welcome. Very in-depth and detailed response from Mark Hamill.
Wait, I'm trying to, so he asked, but Fluke asked several questions, right? So
several questions, yes.
Do you have any anecdote? That was the first question, not really. Have you changed your mind about anything? A little. Would you have done anything differently? Yes. And then thank you, you're welcome. Okay.
Now, I'm just going to sip my tea on that, but my favorite thing from sequel apologists is that, well, Mark Hamill liked it. And I said, no, he didn't. He shit on it for a year and a half. He was on tour just shitting on that movie consistently. And everybody's like, he came back in the end, he turned a corner and he said he liked it. That is their favorite argument in the world. What do you think here?
For me personally, right, I think the way I interpreted all of this is I think Mark Hamill expected certain things to happen as a part of him playing Luke Skywalker again in the sequels, right? And when he realized it wasn't going that way, he did the best he could to keep playing the part, right? To fulfill his contract. But for me, it was kind of obvious in some of the interviews and some of the rest of the stuff, right? He didn't seem like a happy camper.
No.
And I've said before, right? I mean, well, if he was supremely unhappy, he could have walked away and he could have done other things about it.
You don't walk away from the mouse, you know that.
But I don't think it had anything to do about him walking away from the mouse, right? I don't think he wanted to disappoint the fans, right? And I think he evaluated, like I know him, right? But I think he evaluated walking away from the part, showing his ass, doing whatever, would have done more damage to the franchise than just doing the best job he could at the part that was written and going on about his business, right? And so now, 5 years later, didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, this argument's everywhere. I mean, literally, if you scroll social media on Star Wars, it is absolutely everywhere. It went away for a long time, but it's a resurgence right now because it's the 5-year anniversary. The stuff is absolutely everywhere. Yeah, and to me, I mean, this is not a shining endorsement of The Last Jedi, which is nice for me. It's just nice for me. I'm not making a big deal about it. I'm already done with The Last Jedi. I've been done for a long time. But just to see a little bit of asshole come out in Mark Hamill when it comes to this, it makes me so happy. You know what I mean? Would you have done anything differently? Yes. Yeah, I would have. It's like, shit, me too, man.
Again, going back to what I've said before, right? For me, the best thing he could have said was, you know what? If this is what you want to do, I'm out. You do it, right?
Yeah.
You keep your money. You know what? I mean this in the most respectful way. You don't have to pay me for this, but I'm just not going to do this. And he didn't do that.
Well, you said it as a younger man, though. It doesn't have to be good. You just have to get butts in seats, right? That's from the camel's mouth. Mark Hamill.
Yeah. I mean, it's a business, right? It's not show friends, it's show business, right? There's, you know what I mean? It's from a fan's perspective, it's so different, right? But from their perspective, we've all worked shitty jobs, right? Or we've worked a job that's asked us to do things that we don't prefer.
This is so far out of that realm, though. I mean, you're talking about Luke Skywalker. I mean,
when it comes right down to it, it's a part, right? It's his job.
I don't think it is to him.
He didn't walk away.
It's a part in the job. You know what I mean? I think.
So again, he in his mind, it was, what do I do? Do I walk away? Do I keep doing this? What's the best thing for the franchise? I'd like to believe, again, he evaluated the best thing for the franchise was, I'm just going to keep going. Otherwise, we have to say he's in it for the money.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, I want my paycheck.
Well, we don't like that.
No, of course not. Right?
Speaking of somebody who's in it for a paycheck.
Well, just like we don't like to think about George Lucas being a sellout, right? There's some things we don't like to talk.
Rissman.
Listen, I had a conversation on Twitter. Twitter is real world, right? The conversation on Twitter earlier today about the Dial of Destiny, right? Indy 5 and James Mangold.
What a name for a movie, by the way.
I know, what a fucking shitty name, right? but okay, talking about James Mangold. right? And the conversation was, well, I trust James Mangold to direct more than I do George Lucas. And my response was, well, James Mangold's at least still making movies.
Okay.
Right. So I mean, there's always a frame of reference, and that doesn't diminish George Lucas's accomplishments. Right?
I mean, what you said doesn't make sense right there, though. You trust Mangold to make a movie more than George Lucas because Mangold's still making movies.
Yeah, George Lucas stopped.
Right.
What happened? James Cameron didn't have to make Avatar 2. Why did he?
Fuck, that's a good argument.
I'm just saying, right?
I was gonna say, well, he didn't make 6 Avatars. No, but he did make like 3 of the top 5 grossing movies of all time.
Yeah, and I don't want to take the stream into that place so early, right? But I'm just saying, there's some things, right, that you have to think about when it comes to Mark Hamill, right? And who knows what went on through his head, right? Oh, Ronnie.
James Cameron's just bored. That dude gets in a sub and goes to the bottom of the Marianas Trench. He's not bored of one thing, I'm sure. All right, so moving right along.
Keep going.
No, bury it. Don't ever bring it up again.
Keep going.
So, interesting. Another rumor out here, and I'm not going to call this, oh my God, how many times have we heard Kathleen Kennedy's out the door at Lucasfilm? You can't count them on 10 fingers, bottom line. But there's a new rumor. Kathleen Kennedy signed severance deal with Lucasfilm, according to new rumor. Now, here's my question and why I think this is interesting. A severance package is very, very different from retiring. Those are two completely different words. And that's why I think it's interesting that they use severance, because severance is more like, we're going to go a different direction. Here's some money. Am I mistaken? That's corpo lingo, right?
When you're given severance, right, it's normally like a reduction in force, right? We're not going to fulfill the end of your contract. You don't want to retire, so here's something, right, that we agree upon.
Well, it's either a layoff or an amicable change of direction is basically your severance. Those are the two things. So an amicable change of direction seems like the most plausible thing here to me.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like a contract. It's a contract buyout that folks that people feel is amicable, right? So for me, I think she's going to retire when she's ready to retire, and a lot of the spin has been around Indy 5, and I'm like, she can retire from being the president of Lucasfilm and still continue to be executive producer on Indy 5, right? The two things are not mutually exclusive, right? So,
something doesn't add up.
Not for me.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Has it been 10 years? Seriously? That's the first line of the article. After 10 years as Star Wars' top dog. That's a fucking strong statement.
Well, can it be 10 years, though? Didn't she get instated before Iger left the first time? Can't be 10 years, can it? It's not 10 years ago.
Hey, look, the internet says it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years, all right? Especially the direct. God knows they got their facts down pat.
But I mean,
it has to Valiant Renegade was in their article.
Was he?
Yeah, Valiant Renegade made it into one of their articles. I was prepping for the show and I'm looking through and it was like, Cameron Pasha says on Valiant Renegade's YouTube show.
I mean, all deference to Valiant and Cameron, right? We realize that the direct is an aggregation site, right? The thing I like the best about the direct is they don't do a lot of op-eds, right? They go out, this may be an exception, right? But they normally go out and they cull together, different things that
data collection
folks talk about and that they find interesting, right? Iger and Kennedy, Iger, oh, here comes drunk 3PO. Iger instilled Kennedy at the beginning, right? So for him to come back now and say, you're out, I guess it's possible. Anything's possible.
It seems odd to me, though, that, like, you would think she would be cemented with Iger coming back, right? Because they were best buddies. Although recent rumor mill has said that they might not have been as close as we had previously assumed.
Well, so the answer to that question is something we don't know, right? Which is how does Iger evaluate what she has or hasn't done with this franchise since it was purchased, right? Since all of that happened, has he been sitting behind, saying, okay, she's doing a great job?
If you don't think he's been keeping up on what's been going on at Lucasfilm, you're out of your mind. Oh God, here we go.
Uh-oh, here he is.
I know you wanted me here, man. I know you wanted me here. Hey, chat. I talk to you, chat.
We'll just here. There you go. There you go. It's a new drunk 3PO stream, everybody. We'll see you in a little bit here.
I could carry it. What are we talking about? Kathleen Kennedy, how she's wrecked every franchise her hands touched. I agree. And hey, how about those Hayden Christensen rumors?
My God, that was boring. All right,
we're gonna mess up episode 3. Isn't that great?
Okay, so no, we're talking about Kathleen Kennedy and this severance package deal that they're saying, and what we're trying to figure out here is that a severance package in corpo lingo basically means you're either being let go because of creative differences or you're being laid off because they don't have the money to pay you. I don't think this is
Scroll
a money
down.
issue.
Who's the person who started the rumor?
Alicia Leach. Well, she wrote the article.
Oh,
they don't really give it credit for. Well,
dude,
that's right.
They do.
Cameron Pasha.
Oh, that's Carmen. Oh, okay.
Cameron.
It's Cameron again.
Yeah.
It's
Valiant Renegade. So I don't know, man. Like, take it for what you want.
See, I told you they put VR in their article.
That's why I say the Direct does a good job of going out and just listening to things, right? And then spinning them into articles that other folks use. I'm not saying that means it's not true. I'm just saying they're not.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either, actually. But it's not their source, right? Oh, that's what the Direct does. They take other sources and they put it in a consumable.
You want to know what's crazy? Like, I had a friend of mine works at the Galactic Star Cruiser, right? And when all the rumors were coming out and everything, he sent me the whole script of the hotel experience. I did a video on my channel saying, if you don't want spoilers, I got the whole script before it was released. I did the script. I read the script. I did all that stuff. The video did well. And people took like 2 sentences from my video and wrote article. I was featured in all these articles. It was crazy. But it was like a lot of misquotes. So I was like,
that's
man, they just said, because I was like, man, this sounds terrible. And then the title was like, this sounds terrible, Galactic Star Cruiser. And like, and some of it was like sarcastic. I was like, Inside the Magic had me on and all these. They didn't say my name, but they did post my video in their article.
That's what happened to Josh with the whole James Gunn thing. Yeah. He made it on the Hollywood Reporter and they didn't say his name. I'm like, oh, that's dirty.
Yeah. Yeah. So
here's the real question, though. Who's the replacement? I mean, if this happens, which I'm kind of with you guys, like, I don't know if this is going to be a thing. Logically, it makes sense for her to just be gone basically after Indy. Whether or not that's going to happen is speculatory, but
I think that's when she'll go. I think she'll go after that.
You think it's Jon Favreau?
No,
I don't. I don't think it's Favreau.
Do you think it's going to be an unnamed somebody we're not thinking about?
Yeah. I don't think it's Favreau or Filoni, right? I don't think they want anything to do with it.
Do you have an idea?
I don't. I think for me, it's going to go to someone else that's in the corporate environment that we don't even know, or it's going to be someone external.
I hope when she goes, they flush the toilet and bring in a bunch of no names.
We're going to drain the swamp. Maybe the
Flush
the best
toilet.
Lucasfilm you've ever seen.
Oh no.
Ask anybody.
Oh no.
I hope they flush it
The
and
what?
just start over.
Where'd you send it? I don't see it. Where'd you send it?
Let's not show any John Campea videos, please.
I don't watch I don't know John Campea.
I agree with Jay, right? It needs a reset, right? Just reset.
Yeah, that's
Have you
the
heard
best thing
the Have
can
you
do.
heard the Hayden Christensen stuff?
No.
Yes.
So apparently Hayden Christensen is gonna be in this Ahsoka series, and it's gonna apparently she's gonna be with him on Mustafar, and so they're gonna totally screw up some things in episode 3. And like I'm just like, why not at this point? Or why not? Now again, those are speculations, those are rumors, take it for what it is. I'm just like, why? Like, why?
I don't even know. Like,
So on Jay's point, right? The rumor story says that they're going to use the World Between Worlds to do a what if of Ahsoka's life, right? And so as a part of that, it's if Ahsoka never left the Jedi Order, it would have been her and Anakin on Mustafar instead of Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar. And
So I guess we're just kind of doing whatever now.
again, it's a what if, right? It's a series of what ifs.
On the Ahsoka series?
It's a series of what ifs, and apparently if you believe the leaks, right?
Wait, hold on. Sorry, Matt, bring this. So the Ahsoka series that we're getting with Rosario Dawson is gonna have a what if style format in some of the episodes.
Not only that, but there's going to be more than just Ahsoka. There's going to be more than just Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka.
Right.
And so the whole gist of it is trying to say, no matter what would have happened, Ahsoka would have ended up in the same place. So we're going to replay her and
So they're trying
and
to
Vader.
justify that Ahsoka didn't die in Order 66 when George Lucas himself said that she's dead.
It's Filoni, right?
There you
This
go.
is another. We're getting Filoni'd again.
Rosario Dawson may not be the only actor portraying Ahsoka in the upcoming Disney Plus series of the same name.
I love it.
Yep.
And so I haven't been super enthused about the Ahsoka series from the very beginning, to tell you the truth, right? But I thought it was
Up on the
because they were gonna.
news.
I thought it was because they were going to screw up Thrawn and Ezra and some of the things I like from Rebels, right? I didn't realize that we were going to go. We were going in this direction. This is so strange.
My dude, Evan.
Right, this is a whole different kettle of fish, right? But apparently, again, if you believe the rumors, right, they, Hayden and she have a lot of time together, and it's not Hayden in the Vader costume for most of it, but again,
Right.
I think we're gonna see the breaking the mask and some of the things. I think that's
Mom,
the
did you like Kenobi? Oh, okay. I just making sure.
I
What's
liked it.
funny? He likes Kenobi more than Book of Boba Fett, and
I
I'm in the
liked
opposite
it more
camp.
than Book of Boba Fett.
I'm in the opposite camp. I mean, dude, I don't know. Kenobi just ruined me. It ruined me. And Jay profited from my
I
pain.
did.
But yeah, this is
Show her.
it's a very interesting set of business here in these rumors, right? I was like,
I'm just happy Avatar came out, man. I'm like,
Oh, I
wow,
needed
man.
that bad, dude. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We gotta chug our way through some more painful Star Wars news, and then we're gonna get to Avatar. But yeah, I mean, for me, the Ahsoka series is one of those. It's one of those shows. It's almost like Bad Batch, where I'm just like, I'm not following leaks. I'm not excited for it. There's nothing about that show that's like ticking my box as a Star Wars fan. What do you want me to say?
The truth.
That's the truth, is that I'm just not that excited about it. And after the other 2 live action shows that we've gotten, I mean, Andor sort of stood alone, but after the other 2 character driven stories that we got from what you would call a legacy character, I don't know if I'd call Ahsoka really a legacy character, but they fuck it up every single time. Excuse my French. I'm sorry, Jay. I know you don't like foul language when you're streaming, but
It's your channel, dude.
I was gonna say it's not his. It's not his.
it's just that's right. You stream with Geeks and Gamers, dude. They're way worse than me.
So X-Wing, you're not excited. You're only excited. So you think they're gonna do a better job on Mando 3 than the Ahsoka series, is what I'm hearing. Because there's what live action Star Wars are you excited about?
Well, better job is speculative, right? Because we don't know how the stories are going to go until we watch them. I think the production values are going to be very similar between the 2. I think Ahsoka and Mando are going to be very similar. It's going to be a volume heavy type of show. But I'm more interested in the Mando story than I am in the Ahsoka story, which is going to be blasphemy for a lot of you guys. But to be honest with you, like, I'm kind of done with Ahsoka. I don't need more Ahsoka. Like, we got the story, we got an ending. Let's call it good. And I know all the Rebels fans around there are going to be really mad at me for saying that.
But I think they're trying to. I think Favreau was doing the same. I'm still sticking with this until proven differently. I think he's sticking with the Marvel philosophy of this Mando universe world. So you have all these side stories, and then Mando season 4, they're probably all going to come together to fight Thrawn or something like that.
Which sucks. That's not how we should.
Why does it
that's
suck?
not how we should get Thrawn.
Oh,
He's the Thanos character that will
Thrawn
show
is
up.
not
Luke will be back in that
Thanos.
one, so everyone will just be. I could be wrong. I'm just saying, like it. If you're Disney and Star Wars is suffering, they haven't had a big blockbuster film since The Rise of Skywalker. That's a long time ago. While Marvel's pumping out stuff. You know,
Stuff is one word for it.
Well, I'm just saying, you probably go to Star Wars and say, "Hey, this brought us $1 billion of money, this Marvel thing. So maybe y'all should follow the formula because it works." So I don't know. Either that, or they went to Lucasfilm and said, "We need you guys to keep the Disney Plus subscribers going. So just make content for Disney Plus." Because we lost $1.8 billion in our streaming service last quarter.
Well, you and I both know, though, Jay, like a Marvel fan and a Star Wars fan base, they're so completely different. You can't pander to Star Wars fans the same way that you pander to a Marvel fan. You can put out a bunch of content in Marvel and have it be half-baked, and they'll still talk about it and be stoked about it.
Marvel's falling pretty fast right now. That
Phase
4
was a freaking death sentence, dude. They lost
they
a lot
don't
of people.
Have anything right now. I wish it was reversed. I wish they would have kept Marvel on the streaming service and focused on Star Wars blockbusters, but because that's how I've always seen Star Wars, you know, like as blockbuster events, not just a movie.
Ooh,
you know, there's the hype. There's like you get the Happy Meals, you know, like because you get the little toys that come out, like all that stuff, and now it's like it's just TV shows.
I still have my Darth Maul cup topper from like 1999.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. Like the movies are coming out, so it's like go to Burger King and get the Happy Meal and get this and do that, get the custom glass, like all that stuff. So it's, I don't know.
I think it's you can't treat Marvel fans and Star Wars fans the same way. You can't. Does somebody disagree?
I kind of agree with that.
I mean, the bottom line is, Marvel has such an expansive character base that you can make a lot of different movies and make people happy. Look,
so does Star Wars, but they choose not to do it.
Yeah, the difference is the Marvel business isn't decanonized, right? They made a choice on Star Wars to take all that source material, right, and put it to the side, right? What what on the Marvel side was decanonized?
Shut up, Alex.
It's all still relevant, right?
Alex, did your channel get straightened out?
Yeah, he got it. Yeah,
Or is it
he's
still
squared away.
demonetized? Okay,
He's good.
that's good.
I don't know that they did.
Marvel did have a plan up front. They had a 13-year plan, and I remember hearing the stories.
Well, what
it was
happened
like,
in Phase 4?
Phase 4, they didn't have the same people. It just they tried to keep. Once the streaming service opened up, that was Disney's like, we're losing billions of dollars. We've got to get those numbers up. We've got to. So it's like they called everyone and were like, content. Now we have way too much content. That's like it's just saturated with it, and people are like, and now it's not being done well because it's being put out way too fast. You had VFX artists like come out multiple times saying everybody's quitting like Disney because like they're pushing us to do so much. It's nonstop. You had Taika Waititi with Thor: Love and Thunder on an article watching parts of his movie and laughing at how bad the CGI is. And just laughing. This is his movie, and he's laughing at it like, oh, it looks terrible. And it's like, because they're just throwing stuff out to see if they can keep people on the streaming service.
Yeah, but Feige approved all that.
I agree.
So I mean, whether we say KK and put the horns on our head or whatever, and we idolize Feige on the Marvel side. I mean, in She-Hulk, apparently the biggest problem he had was when the robot version of me, take the hat off.
Well, She-Hulk is now the most powerful Avenger of all time because she could break the fourth wall. Tim Talk is right. He's absolutely correct. He says Star Wars or anything superhero is not an event anymore. It's oversaturated. Stuff like Avatar or Jurassic World is still an event. I 100% agree.
I agree with the Avatar. I don't know if I believe with Jurassic World anymore.
Yeah, well, totally. It's done. They're not doing this. They. I thought they were.
Did you see the trailer for 65
with
Driver
with Kylo Ren? Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Dude, that looks sick.
That looks pretty cool.
Are you shaking your head? No.
I'm shaking my head no because it seems trite at this point, right? All deference to Adam Driver because everything I've seen him in, other than the sequels, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm like, here we go again. It seems like something from my youth, right? Where they fell through the hole and all of a sudden the family ended up
journey to the center of the earth.
Yeah, they ended up in prehistoric Earth.
But you know what? You know what we're missing? My good friend Moff
is exactly that.
We're missing like good, fun films.
Totally.
I just I don't. It doesn't even have to be like
popcorn cinema. What we used to call
like let's go have some fun, have a few laughs, leave, then go have a beer with my friends, and just be like, yeah, I had a good time.
Don't reinvent the wheel. So yeah, that was my big thing with Avatar.
Where are the Dumb and Dumber movies, man? Like, where's that at? Where's like Rambo, man? Where's that stuff at? Like, I hope Adam Driver has a movie where he has a gun and he kills 100 million people.
That's John Wick.
I know, but Adam Driver could pull it off too. And then Tim Talk could cosplay as that'd be awesome.
But again, I'm shaking my head. It's like here we go again. Some other prehistoric dinosaur. We fell back in time. It's me and a kid. We got to get through this.
I hear you though. I do hear you. I hear you.
I'm like, again, the trailer looked cool, but I'm like, really, this is it?
I would rather go in the direction of old Hollywood stereotypes than the new groundbreaking stuff that they're trying to do. I'll be honest with you.
What do you mean
because I walked out of Avatar and I felt like I watched an old Disney movie.
You felt like you watched a movie from the 90s.
Yeah, 100%. It felt like an old
Disney movie.
Yeah,
right, like a movie.
Was it groundbreaking? Well, I mean, it was groundbreaking, but I'm talking about from a story standpoint. Was it groundbreaking? Like, no, not by any stretch of the imagination. My expectations were not subverted. And I was totally fine with that. I was very happy.
It was spectacular visually.
Beautiful. Once I got the right fucking glasses, it was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Dude, Jay, I bought tickets to the wrong movie theater.
Okay.
I spent so we went to this, it was like an IMAX theater. I was sure I was at the right spot. I spent
Only
like
X-Wing.
$50 on hot dogs and beer and popcorn and red vines and sour Skittles. I was so excited. Mrs. X-Wing and I walk up and we're like, where do we go? And they're like, oh, you're at the wrong theater. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And then we walked in and it was half empty. There was almost nobody there. And I was shocked and a little disheartened because I wanted that theater to be completely packed.
My theater was packed, and they did a whole red carpet at Disney Springs with Avatar on all the walls of the building. It was awesome, and they were showing like clips. And then when you walk to the theater, they had these giant posters that you walk through. They had a red carpet thing put up on the. I was like, they went all out. I got like a freaking Avatar bucket that lights up. They were giving those things away. They were giving away lanyards. It was an event. And when I got out of the theater, there was a long line of people waiting to get in for the next showing, and it just was like we had people like when the movie was over, they just stood and clapped. I was like blown away.
That's dope.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
That feels like old Star Wars, you know, when the movie ends and everybody's standing up and clapping.
Marius is them in Phoenix too. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, my theater tonight was absolutely jammed, and people were applauding and reacting, and people loved it, right? They should have, right? It's amazing.
My dad asked me today because I told him, I was like, hey, we went to a late showing, and he's like, well, what did you enjoy about it? And I said, it's been so long since we've seen a strong family unit with the dad at the forefront, just trying to protect his children, just being an effing man, just being an effing man in a nuclear family kind of situation. And he laughed his ass off, and he goes, that's almost non-existent nowadays. I said, yeah. And it was really refreshing. It was really enjoyable.
That's why I say it's a movie from the 90s.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
and then you put the skin of, you know, James Cameron and Avatar over the top of it. And it's like, oh my God, dude. Like I said, it was nothing revolutionary, but it felt that way. I think it lives up or surpasses the original Avatar.
I personally liked it better than the original.
I do.
But maybe it's just because I'm older now. Is it an age thing?
It was 13 years ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about why I say that, but I enjoyed this one more than the original.
Okay.
I was reading. I thought you were gonna read your super chat. I'm sorry.
No, it can be.
I'm gonna make Ronnie wait for it.
Then Paul Blunt's. How did we get on Avatar? Do we finish on Avatar time? And Paul Blunt's.
Avatar was so much to unpack that I think the biggest hit for me and the people that like I had a group of people with me, and what they walked away was, we're the Star Wars nerds, we're the geeks, we're the comic book people, and there was a time and place where we were the outcast trying to find our way, and nobody understood us. We were always laughed at. We were always the fat guy in the comic book shop. We were always the guy eating 7-Eleven burritos. We were always the ones doing Lego figures and having the figurines when everybody else was out drinking and doing their thing. And it's like the whole outcast thing of like moving and like trying to fit in and not, you know, trying to learn the way. Like for so many people, it hit home. I mean, that's a teenage thing too at times. You know, you switch schools, you move out, but like, not to give away too much, no spoilers, but it's like, it wasn't just the kids that were outcasts. It was the whole family. Yeah. You know, like to the point where, you know, I can't say that.
Not only the family, right? But one other big plot element.
Yeah.
That plot element, actually, that's where my tear came. I'm like, why am I getting emotional over this? I was like, I didn't expect that. But on Jay's point, right? It's, you know, it felt like he made the movie for us nerds, right? Because Jim 100%. Cameron is one of us nerds, right? He's one of the folks who saw Star Wars and he was like, I can do this, right? This is motivating me to make great cinema, right? And then from there, we've gotten so many awesome things from him. And then this Avatar franchise is Jim Cameron's Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
his
exactly.
world.
And it feels that way to me when I'm watching it. It's like, dude, it's like watching. This was Attack of the Clones for me.
But you know,
And
why?
go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you. He spent years with a team world building and writing the story.
Yeah.
And not like he, even in some of his interviews, he was like, we're not just going to make a movie to make a movie. That's what Marvel does.
Ooh.
So he's like, and
Dog.
He cut everyone like in these interviews. He was just like, that's what they do. We don't do that.
I saw him talking about the Spider-Man thing. He was like, that was the only one I was thinking about doing.
The worlds. And he's just like, we spent time. He's like, he goes, I had a pile of notes. Like the last interview you did, he said, I wrote down notes for 2 years about this world. And I brought everyone together. And we spent like a year with these notes, putting a world together from the language, the music. There's a video on YouTube about the music of Avatar and how this guy traveled the world to collect sounds from different places and put them together so they would have their own unique music sound.
And he didn't use any of it.
So
you remember
he did use it.
Kinda. He paid a musical anthropologist and had a budget of like $3 million for it to make something that didn't sound like it was from Earth, and then he abandoned it. He's like, people aren't gonna like it.
I don't think he abandoned it. They used it when like they were singing to Awa and things like that. Like
it was still used, yes, but for the main soundtrack, yeah, they went for something a little more palpable.
Well, the main soundtrack, it was more they try to do the John Williams style with the classical style music like during the flight, so it worked, you know. And it's
rest in peace, Horner, by the way.
Yeah.
I was just about to say. I mean, I thought they did great deference to James Horner.
I agree.
Right? I mean, you can't recreate what he did, but I was like, I was into it. Right, the score supported what was going on. Not going to happen. What was going on in the movie, right? So I'm like, hey, yeah. Great job.
They did. They brought James Horner back in quite a few moments. And I'll be honest with you, like right in the beginning of we can't do spoilers. Dang it. You know what? We can move into spoiler territory. Anybody who does not want to hear spoilers for the movie.
You want to cover the other topics and then come back to this, or you just want to keep going on this?
I want to talk about Avatar. I'm excited about it. You know what I mean? Like it's like beating my head against a wall talking about Star Wars right now. It's difficult. It's like eating your vegetables.
I just don't know how many people in the chat were.
32-ounce tomahawk sitting in front of me with Avatar 2, and I just want to cut into that thing.
I just didn't know how many people that are here were prepared to hear about Avatar spoilers, but it's up to you.
Well, I'm going to give you the big go ahead, and then I need to start getting to this chat because I've been neglecting them here. Ronnie for $4.99 says, "When will Matt dance again?" You gonna do it for $4.99? You gonna dance? No? Okay. Thank you, Ronnie, for the $4.99. Paul Blunt with another Canadian $2.79. Rissman OnlyFans coming soon. How's that coming, by the way? Did you make the website yet?
It's not coming at all.
Not coming yet? Okay. All right. Thank you guys for the donations. This one's for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your generous contribution to
X-Wing.
Thank you.
You know, Jay.
Yes.
You're a quiet man on stream when you're not streaming by yourself.
I don't want to like. Well, I don't know what you want me to say.
I want to hear what you think about a possible Avatar 345 because I feel like everything that James did in this movie.
All right. Well.
Basically leaves it open-ended for there's no way that it ends here. He left the movie so open for everything else.
Well, we know there's
I have an Avatar channel.
You do?
called Drinking in Pandora. Yeah, you know, you like that channel.
That's why he came in here. He just wants to do some self
And
promos.
I don't need to promote it. I'm about to
I
pass
think you already
subs.
passed me.
I was
didn't you?
gonna say that channel has more subs than
So
this.
it he did 2 and 3 together back to back, and they wanted to wait and see, and he's able to close off the trilogy on 3 is what he said, to see if it makes money, if people care again. 4 and 5, they started the pre-production for 4, is what he said, and John Landau, who's working with him hand in hand on that, and they said 4 is it will be a shocker, and they basically said no one is safe. Like don't fall in love with certain characters because no one is safe. Jay's Evertall channel is fantastic. Daisy, you are an incredible supporter. Thank you.
Yeah, people lost their mind in the theater when his kid died.
That was rough, man.
I couldn't believe it, and I said to X-Wing Jay, you know, as I was
Spoilers.
I was like, did he really die? You know, again, in this day and age, I expected somehow the whale was going to save him or something was going to happen.
Consequence-free storytelling.
And it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Which is amazing. And thank God for that.
So, like I said, he filmed 2 and 3 together, so 3's ready to go. He did release some books that were prequels. So he released some books that were prequels to Avatar: The Way of Water that was supposed to be filmed for Avatar 2. And it was too much. So he was like, let me release these on a graphic novel scale. And I had them. And it really tells the story of... It just prolongs the 13-year gap. It not prolongs, but it explains it more in depth about all the characters. And it's amazing. I'm going to be talking about it on that channel too. And to go over, because it definitely heavy spoilers. If you read it before you went in the film, you already knew that Spider was the son of Quaritch, Colonel Quaritch. Talks about more of Kiri, things like that in these books. But going into Avatar 3, the one thing that we have to understand is this is spoilers, guys, so please click off if you don't want to know. The next movie is supposed to be called The Tolkien Rider, and that's the giant whale that gives humans the power not to age anymore. Yeah. So that was the big takeaway that I knew was there already from the books, that's what they were fishing. So in the first film, we had, they were mining. So, Autumntanium, the ore. Yeah. This film, you got to see the whalers. They're going after a substance that keeps humans from aging ever. It stops aging at all, and it's more valuable. So now we have
name
humans.
Of that stuff?
Huh?
What it was called? I can't remember the name of that.
It's a serum that comes out of the whale
stuff.
Yeah. So you got to remember. So the humans are coming to Pandora because Earth is dying, right? And don't be surprised if we don't see Jake take the Na'vi warriors to space, because he does that in the prequel, and possibly a trip to Earth to stop, to end this science lab that keeps creating these recoms and things like that. So there's a lot to unpack there. What's that?
What do you mean he does that in the prequel?
All right, so while you were gone, James Cameron's Avatar 2 was supposed to start with more battles. And so when he couldn't put it in the film, he released them on a graphic novel. These are James Cameron was like, this is canon. This is part of the story that I wrote. These were the scripts, and we couldn't put it in the film, so we decided to release it on a graphic novel. It explains Spider a lot more in Kiri. I'm going to talk about it on my other channel. It explains a lot, but in those books, Jake does take the Na'vi into outer space to go onto one of the ships. So and it talks about him training the Na'vi to like fight in a military way. That's why they were so good at it. Yeah. In this film. So it's really a special book, but there's a part of it where it looks like they might have to travel to Earth to blow up this giant factory. Yeah, to stop it. So, but we're gonna have, so the story continues with the human race coming to Pandora to live, and how they're gonna try to figure out to live together. And there's a group of humans that can live together. The Recoms are supposed to take out Jake Sully. That's their job. So that's why you have the old military guys that are now avatars. Their number one priority. So it wasn't the RDA. It was kind of the RDA, but remember, they commandeered whaling vessels in this film. It wasn't a military vessel.
Recoms. So like recommissioned soldiers. Recommissioned?
Where they took their essence and their DNA and their personalities and made soldiers out of them. So the factory that you saw in the beginning, where the person that's in charge, she's played by Eddie Falco. She was only in it for like 5 minutes.
I thought it was Edie Falco. I was right.
Yeah, she's in charge.
General. She was the general.
Her name.
Right. They're able to 3D print homes and factory. They have that technology that they didn't really talk about there, but it's in the books. They have that fact there that they could constantly print out helicopters and weapons and stuff like that, like mass production.
Yeah, that one scene where it was printed. Right.
So they're building up a bigger army for 3. So like that's going to happen. So they're going to go back and say, look, we didn't get Jake. He's got these, he's got this, he's got that. So you're going to have more whaling guys coming to hunt down the whales. They're still going to want to mine the fields because in the book, there's still miners there, but they have an agreement with the Na'vi. They're like peaceful miners. So they have an agreement. So they're still there. That's canon. That's in the book.
That seems contradictory, though. Like they were pissed that they were wasting off the forest, and like it seems contradictory to the beginning of, you know what I mean?
But it's not what you think. It's very small, because if you see, like, the humans that left are still at Hell's Gate base.
Yeah.
So the scientists are still there. So they still need to fund it. So they're able to mine. They have an agreement with the Na'vi to go to a certain place and mine some of the obsidian so that they could stay there. So all that plays in a factor. Then you have Kiri, who is like the Jesus person of the story, you know, who was born of a dead Grace Augustine's avatar, the dead Na'vi, you know, which they try to transfer her body. She was pregnant. You don't know much about her father, but I think she was
just have a father. Isn't Awa basically?
They don't say that. We don't know that yet. But that's probably what happened. Yeah.
Sahik says she may choose to preserve everything that's in her here. Like, I mean, that's what happened, right? Awa.
Well, her story is gonna get like. Just think of the story of Jesus. Jesus was born. He had power to heal. Yeah. But Jesus also made the ultimate sacrifice to save everyone. So remember that about that character. So
can't wait for James Cameron. It's not the Bible tweet.
It's not the Bible, but I'm just saying, like, you pull from these things, you know, you pull from these stories.
Timeless stories, man.
And things like that. So
he doesn't tweet though, does he?
No, he does.
What did you think about her character in it? Like her voice and everything? I know I've talked to a couple people today who said every time that person was in the movie, it ruined the scene for him.
Who is it? Who?
Grace's daughter. And I
thought the dialogue was kind of cheesy, like with the boys when they're like, yo, cuz, hey, bro.
Hey, bro.
Like, I think that was James Cameron trying to be cool when writing that. And
he was trying to do the Islander vibe. Like, hey, bro.
Like, older.
Hey, bro.
But the problem was, it's hard to judge that because they're speaking Na'vi. And then when Jake goes, I learned the language so well, it sounds like they're speaking English. They immediately flip them to
I loved that. I'm like, what a great way to not have to do subtitles and translation.
Yeah. So he just like flipped it to English, and that was the cue to keep it in English. So
still don't understand that tweet.
Okay, so that was a quote about him being younger and how he had all, like, when he was getting hormones of testosterone, he was very angry. And he had to get it out of his body by being creative and exercising and stuff. I don't know why people don't follow through. They
twisted that.
They just took the headline and saying testosterone is a poison and needs to leave the body, and like totally didn't read the article. So
Who reads the articles?
Yeah,
Other than me.
I can't
didn't
say
read
anything
it.
because I've done that too myself. I can't, I'm guilty as charged sometimes. You go back
Jennifer
and you go,
Lawrence says she's the first female action star. You're like,
she actually said that. It's recorded, so
did she? Was that really? Because I don't care enough about her to like follow that up. Is that really real? She really said that.
She really
Yeah.
did say that.
In all seriousness,
Yeah, in an
In all
interview,
seriousness.
you could listen to the audio, like you could watch it live, like.
delusional.
So yeah, she said that.
Read?
Yeah, I
dude,
know.
it's really good for you. I promise. I just don't read Hollywood articles. I can't bring myself to do it. I just can't.
Good for you, Dat Boy Steve. Dat Boy Steve read it. Good for him.
When you get 2 claps, buddy. Good job. So yeah, I thought it was cool. Look, the whole thing. I looked over probably 3 or 4 times during the course of the movie, and I saw my wife crying. And you are hard pressed to get my wife to cry in a movie, and she was tearing up, man. It was coming through the 3D glasses, and I'm like, James Cameron, good for you, man. And I got a little misty a couple times watching that movie. I definitely got a little misty.
That's how you tell a story and get you involved in the characters.
Yeah.
And you're talking about characters who were outcast, who are being hunted. Then you have the teenage factor where it's awkward time. You're a teenager, you change in schools, nobody likes you, everybody's picking on you. There's a bully factor in there. How do you overcome all that? I mean, it's just like those kids went through...
And then you got the moms too, like the moms who were kind of butting heads about how do we raise our family, and then in a moment of need, they're like,
all right,
all the scientists are all over the kid, and she goes, no,
right.
You're Sahik. You come back in here and deal with it.
It seems like they were fighting over their kids the whole time, but I mean, there's a big spoiler, everyone, again, if you don't want to hear it, but when Natiri had Spider and cut his chest, and she's like, son for son, you're just like, holy crap. You like you know what I mean? Like, this is a kid that my daughter loves.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm in mom angry mode right now. Like, I could care less. This is not my flesh and blood, and I will kill him if I have to.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like to see that type of heavy emotion on the screen. That was like, it was so, yeah, there wasn't a dry, like, people were just like, this is wild, man. Like, this is like the Cameron, you don't see that in films.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
not only that, but when the movie culminates, right, you're thinking, well, she should have killed him, right? Because what he ends up doing, right,
saves him.
The trickle down effect of her not killing him, which was not disclosed when he goes back to them, right? It's like, well, that didn't work out.
So for me, it's so funny. I'm surprised you guys didn't bring this part up, because this is the one that stuck out to me, was when Spider is hiding behind the smokestack and he sees Natiri just going ape shit.
And he's scared.
And he turns around, he's like, oh, and hides. I'm like, that's foreshadowing. I think that's foreshadowing for Spider, because yeah, he may have made the choice to go back. He may have made the choice to stay with Omatikaya or, whoever.
He never disclosed that he saved his Colonel Daddy.
He never did that, and he's got the feeling he has some small, and I even hate to say the word, like internal bias at this point now, because he hid from Natiri and saw she's a savage. She can't be trusted. If I showed myself now, she would kill me.
She
which
almost
was crazy.
did.
She should have.
She might have, dude. Hey, you don't mess with a mom who's in a blood rage. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorn. Valientes with a $10 super. Thank you so much, my brother.
This is an awesome theme park vlogger on the West Coast. Good dude.
No, he's my friend.
Oh,
he's not your friend. He's my friend. Valientes. One thing I appreciate, it was Cameron's good casting and good characterizations, especially the kids who all had their own personalities. Lots of new memorable characters. Standouts are Kiri and Loak. I thought going into this movie, I was going to hate the kids. I thought that they were going to be a drag on the movie. I thought it was going to be just like vegetables to chew when the movie came around, and they ended up actually being some of my favorite parts of the movie. I almost like the kids more than I like Jake because they seem very human, but at the same time, 100% Na'vi.
Agreed. I love the kids, like even the father aspect of, he was a tough father, like that they were trying to push that, and then you had Natiri like, hey Jake, like hey, like you're being like we could be tough, but you are like being. He's like, no man, they got to be ready, and to see them like, yes sir, no sir,
Yeah, she goes, it's not a squad,
but even like. They're Loak is disobedient and he drags his older brother in, but sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but at the end of the day, they're still like, yes, sir, no, sir. And then trying to live up to their father's expectation. That's a whole nother thing. It's like Jake figuring out how to love his kids and not be, he's a Marine. So he's just doing what Marine things does.
And Turuk Makto.
Right. So he has all that pressure. So he's like being extra hard on his kids. And then it's like, I got to figure out how do I love my kids? And then it's like, how do I protect my kids? And how do I get my kids to listen to me? And then you got the kids, like, how do I live up to my dad? My dad's this great warrior and I'm a nobody. I'm an outcast. I have nothing. Nobody listens to me. It's such not everyone, but a lot of people have been through that.
And
a lot of people have been through that.
They weren't cringy when they were doing it, right? It felt very organic to me.
Yeah.
Very genuine, very I could identify with it. Other than the bro, okay, I can get past that, right?
Somebody needs to when this releases, we need to get a bro counter.
But it wasn't cringe. It was just like, that's kind of silly, right? I didn't I didn't feel like, I didn't feel like the fucking kid from Black Adam, right? That was cringy for me.
But you know what they did, that was like really special is usually when they have rebellious teenagers in movies, they're rebellious 24/7. Like, you're not my real mom. I don't care what you say, blah, blah, blah. These kids were like, yes, sir. You're right. Yes, sir. But then they would still kind of rebel, right?
It was situationally appropriate, right? It fit in when they needed to do it, and it wasn't like, oh, he's beating me over the head with. That's what makes it cringy, right? Because it doesn't fit. It's overdone, and this movie didn't overdo it.
I just love the fact that they respected their dad, even though they disobeyed at times. We all have been there. We disobeyed our guardian, our parents. But in front of them, it's like, yeah. But Hollywood has just done a terrible job of making rebellious kids overly rebellious and the heroes, where it's like, just disrespect your parents, disrespect everyone, just disrespect. You'll still be on top when it's all done.
You'll be the hero at the end of the story, no matter what you say to your parents. Yeah.
So
they did it well.
So that's what I love that. And then you throw in the little one, Took, and it's like, how is she going to survive all that stuff? It's like, it's master storytelling, man. And the only thing that I had a problem with was the high frame rate.
I was lucky I didn't do that.
I didn't have any issue. Once I got the right glasses in the IMAX 3D, I didn't have that problem.
It was only, it turned into a soap opera style on a certain scenes when it's just the family talking amongst themselves. Didn't mess up on the action scenes or anything.
What do you mean
like that.
Soap opera? Like, it passes that like uncanny valley where it just looks like you're not watching a movie, it's real? Or
I got that. We got that on certain. We saw it in digital 3D, and certain scenes it was like it just wasn't. It took us out of the movie a little bit because it just didn't look good. So, look at that. That's what I'm talking about, Steve.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a minute.
I think he's telling us a story there, but that's fine.
Oh.
So, yeah, there was a question as to how many of them there are going to be. And so far as I know, I think it's supposed to be 5, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, so 5 movies. But I feel like everything's kind of hanging in the balance on this one, because this has to make $2 billion, right, to basically break even.
I was also misquote. He was talking about 2 and 3.
Yeah,
okay, so
3
2
is
and 3
coming.
together.
3 is coming. 3 is 4 and 5. I think
I
are.
was talking about those two films have got to do well before they do 4 and 5. But let me ask you this question: the first Avatar set records because people wanted to see its beauty. A lot of people went. It did big overseas, and then it kind of fell off. If we know there's more movies coming, and now that there's comic books and there's books, do we have an IP, or is Avatar just one of those films that we just really enjoy, and that's the end of it?
I have to tell you honestly, Jay. If I hadn't heard you talking about it tonight, I didn't know there was graphic novels. I didn't know there was still books.
The lore is deep on Avatar. Very deep.
So it seems to me that they haven't done a great job letting people know that, right? I mean,
yeah, you're right. That's why I'm like, there's only 4 channels that really cover Avatar, and I happen to be one of them. So I searched YouTube over and over, and I was like, is there going to be an Avatar? Like I searched over and over. There was one guy that got a big head start before me, Avatar Theory. And, but that's the thing though. Like, could this turn into an IP where people buy the toys, people buy they buy they got Lego sets out now that are very expensive.
And those there's so many more new sets, and they're beautiful. I didn't realize how many new sets were coming out. They're amazing looking.
Yeah. But what do you think, X-Wing? Could it, or just be we got a cool trilogy? And that's where it could end. I don't know.
Well, I'm torn. It's kind of tough because do I want it to be an IP? Absolutely. Of course I do. I put it in my video today. I said, people were mad about the 3-hour runtime. There was not a point at anywhere in the movie where I felt like this is dragging, come on, let's wrap this up. I enjoyed every second of it. You saw my face personally when I went to Avatar Land in Magic Kingdom, like just filled with joy. I want this to be an IP. I really do. And if we only get 3 movies and they don't destroy it with a 4th one that doesn't have to do with James Cameron vision, and they don't, basically R-word this IP, then I'll be happy and we can have our 3 movies. But if I could wish for anything, I want this to be a big IP. The lore already exists for this to be an IP. But like you said, they're not really marketing Avatar comic books, Avatar toys. They're not really marketing all this other stuff, this expanded universe, if you will, for Avatar. It's just the movies. But
they will after this film, so that's where it's going to take.
Well, I hope so. But
Matt Vader,
what's going on with the Avatar movie? The Avatar video game that's supposed to be released in 2022. Where is it?
It got pushed back because they wanted to wait till after the film comes out. So,
it was supposed to come out in conjunction with, but if you type in Avatar Frontiers of Pandora right now, the last video made on that game was 4 months ago.
Yeah.
The top result.
But you want to know something?
I'd
rather them wait and get it right than release crap. So
I agree.
But Matt Vader makes a great point. He says, I personally feel no real urgency or need to see this movie. And I totally get that. I totally get the first film, Fern Gully, Dances with Smurfs, whatever. I totally get that. I still love it. I still love it. I totally understand why people will go, I have no interest in this film. And I get it. I get it. It's not for everyone. It just isn't. And people will watch it and forget about it in a month and just say it was really beautiful. I loved it. It was visionary, but that's the end of it. But for others, I think we could see something. They just released a book on the lore. They just released a visual guidebook. They just released all the prequel books to Avatar 2: The Way of Water. And they're all sold out. The prequel books you can't get now because they sold out until December, near December 20, coming up in the next 4 or 5 days. At least that's what Amazon said. So it's so people are starting to take interest and buying it right now. I want to show you something. I'm gonna pull this up. This is beyond wild. I don't know what this means. It might not be anything. It might just because things are popular or jumping right now. But I'm gonna share my screen real quick and show you this. Let's see.
For me, I just feel like the whole thing with Avatar and with Star Wars, with any of the IPs that have been very, very successful, is that
let me show you this.
Oh my God, look at this.
My Avatar channel is averaging 400 views, right? Like, it's just, I haven't really uploaded much of anything. And so, I mean, I just try to do one a day, but it's like flying. This is doing better than my Drunk 3PO channel. It's like flying right now. And so, like, every video is getting watched, every lore, everything. Like, people are just watching old stuff too. Like, they're just like, they're searching for it. I mean, the movie just did get released, so I get that. But
people want this.
Listen, Marvel sucks. Star Wars is dead. Warner Brothers just killed themselves with the Henry Cavill. There are no IPs out. And now you got Avatar dropped right in our lap with a good family story with no competition.
What was the second thing you said?
Christmas season.
What was the second thing you said?
Star Wars is dead.
Emotional damage.
But it can be resurrected. I'm just saying. People could be hungry for something to dig into, to find lore, to be happy about sci-fi, fantasy, escapism, all that stuff. I'm just saying, whatever happens, James Cameron dropped this movie at the best time.
This is the perfect time. When everything is dead, the stock market's down, and he just drops a spike. Like, yes. Daisy Blossom Flower Child for $20.
Awesome,
this is an
She's
amazing
awesome.
stream. Lots of great info. Thank you. Oh my God, Daisy Blossom, thank you so much. Please know you're already, you don't have to donate ever, but my God, do I appreciate it. Thank you so much. $20. This is an amazing stream. Lots of great info. Thank you. Well, thank you for being here. And that super chat is...
It's a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be.
Can't stand that guy.
Nobody can.
I just did that just for you. Just for you. No, but so what I was trying to say is that with all these IPs, any very successful IP, so like Dune kind of got a little bit of fart in the wind and people were excited about it. Avatar, another one, early Marvel, same thing. It all boils down to escapism and how invested can people be in a world before they reject it. And for me, Avatar has been one of those worlds where I can immerse myself for hours and be happy and enjoy it. And I think that's why Avatar is successful. I think that's why Star Wars was successful. Star Trek, same thing. Any who's been the outcast, the downtrodden, misunderstood, any of those things, we can go to that place and feel at home. And that's why I think Avatar is successful.
I want to address two things. A Common Idiot says, I was just going to say that if other IPs were in their prime, no one would give a crap about Avatar. I agree. I don't think they wouldn't give a crap. I don't think it would be. I think it would be a good movie that came through. But I tend to agree with that, honestly. And that boy Steve says Marvel sucks. Star Wars is dead. Nah, 3PO got to be drunk. No. Let me tell you something. My friend Steve, Andor couldn't even crack the ratings. When She-Hulk does better than Andor, which is the best Star Wars that no one is watching in the ratings, there's a problem with Star Wars. And I hope you love it, and I hope it's entertaining you, and I really do. But there's a problem with Star Wars that nobody cares anymore. Some people do care. I shouldn't say nobody. This guy cares a little bit, and the guy below me, I think.
Shut up, Jay.
He cares about the Legos, but I'm just saying, Marvel Phase 4 is a disaster. People have checked out, and they're not going to see the films anymore. And like, there's a reason why Disney Plus is losing billions of dollars on their streaming service.
1.6 over the quarter.
So because nobody cares about these IPs as much as they thought they did. So can they be fixed? I believe it. I believe anyone any of them can be fixed, but they're not in good they're not doing well right now.
Yeah, Disney.
Maria says
and
I
Star
care.
Wars do
Listen,
not
I
have a
totally
good
get it. I
rapport
totally get
with me
it.
right now.
And I don't want to like mess up X-Wing stream because he's a Star Wars guy, but it's tough to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah. You
Well,
want to talk about real apathy? You're talking to someone who's literally sitting in a bin of Star Wars every single day. I'm surrounded by this stuff. And it's difficult for me to sit down and actually make a video and talk about it.
For me, the biggest thing they failed on from a Star Wars perspective is they gave up on the theatrical experience. Right? That was
Movies died.
That was such a fucking stupid thing to do. I mean, and they put all their money into the streaming content, right? While Marvel continued, whether we like the movies or not, right? Marvel continued to pump that shit out, right? How many more Marvel movies have there been since the last Star Wars movie? And I don't count the fact that they keep rolling Rogue One back out every time they need to put something in the theater. As much
We're
as
talking about multi-million-dollar Marvel movies too. These are not cheap movies to make.
Over and over again, right? On the Marvel movies and on the Star Wars side, nah.
Dead silence.
Total stupidness, right? And
so, do you think that's the fix?
I almost, as much as I hate to say this, I almost think it's too late. Right? The next Star Wars movie that they put out in the theater that's not Rogue One has to be James Cameron-esque amazing, in my opinion. Right? Like we're just getting in this experience. Right? They have set themselves behind such a high bar now through inactivity that I'm like, how are you going to do this? What is going to happen?
Well, I mean, when they do become active too, the problem is we get stuff like Boba Fett and Kenobi. When we finally get activity from Lucasfilm, it's something that's so damaging and so shitty.
but none of
who's going to be excited about the next project?
I'm with you, but none of those are movies,
right?
So whether it's Patty Jenkins or Sean Levy or who is it going to be? Nobody wants to make a Star Wars movie right now, right? And I have to tell you honestly, for me, and you're going to laugh when I say this, but I'm going to say it. The best thing Bob Iger could do to try and save Star Wars movies is to convince George fucking Lucas to make another Star Wars movie. At this point, I don't know what else to say.
Thoughts, Jay?
I don't think they need George Lucas. I like where your head's at, though. I think they just need to walk into any Barnes and Nobles or bookstore and go to the Star Wars section and look at anything in the EU, take a bowl of mashed potatoes and just throw it as hard as they can, and whatever book has the most of it at the end, you make a movie on that and you're gold. You're freaking golden. You could do a whole series on that. It's the Thrawn trilogy is freaking amazing. You could do that. I mean, there's so much, and I don't know about you guys as a Star Wars, well, used to be a big Star Wars fan. If they went back into the EU and grabbed a series and they had to recast Luke and Han, as long as they stop, I would be okay with it. If they didn't mess it up, I would be okay with it. I would understand and I would be okay with it. But it's like there is so much good stuff. That's what boggles the mind. There's so much good stuff already written. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's right there. You just take it off the shelf and open it and be like, this is what we'll do. It's perfect. We'll just, condense it and make a script. And that's all you got to do, man. Like, it's so easy to me to fix Star Wars. And then just let it trickle down. Why do you have a Star Wars land? I know I keep bringing it up, but it just shows how dumb it is. But you don't put Star Wars characters in the land, you put them over at Tomorrowland. Why don't you put them in Star Wars land? It's Star Wars land. It's like, I laugh at this stuff now because it's so, I just don't get it. Like, it's
Here's
just
the
so
problem,
easy
though.
to fix.
It is. It's so easy. The stories have been written. All you have to do is adapt them. But the problem is, would you trust somebody to take on the Darth Bane trilogy right now?
Yeah.
You would trust Disney to take over the Darth Bane trilogy?
It's not about it. It's letting the person. Probably right. You're probably right. No, I wouldn't.
You're talking
trust
about
Disney.
removing studio influence from making something like the Darth
Yeah,
Bane trilogy?
you're right.
Absolutely not.
This is what I'm saying, right? Whether I don't think they're ever.
Well, if
gonna
that's the case,
backtrack.
then if that's
The
the case,
boys
you'll
in
never have
here.
good Star Wars ever.
What's up, buddy?
It'll always be mediocre in CW. If that's the case.
And so I saw a chat comment. George Lucas is not the answer. I get it, right? But what is the answer, right? What is the best opportunity to reignite and bring back together the fractured fandom that is Star Wars?
Nuke Lucasfilm, essentially, brand new regime, and then the first story that you tell is an Old Republic story, and you make it adult, gnarly, put a bunch of nice,
I
great
think I had the best
CG
answer.
effects into it, and people will be happy.
I had the best answer. There's so many stuff already written. It's just easy. Just pick it up.
But they have on this point, right? They have to acknowledge that source material, right? Which they have been woefully.
But they
they're
pick at it. Don't you know that though? They pick at that source material
Yeah.
and throw it in there. They
So
pick at it.
bullshit.
So it's like
Yeah.
but who cares? Like at this point, if Star Wars went dark for a year or 2 years, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey guys, we're gonna do the Thrawn trilogy, and this is gonna be Luke, and it's gonna be Han, and we took these books, and we're just gonna do that, and that's how we're doing it. And you don't even have to talk about the sequel trilogy. You don't have to talk about the stuff in the past. Just say, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna give this to you. I hope you like it, and just go. Let people
Even
talk.
if they were like,
let
it's
people-
not canon, it's a what if. We're just calling it a
No,
what
man,
if.
don't even. That's what I'm saying. X-Wing.
If they had to do it, I'm just saying, like, if they had to, just call it a what if.
No, they don't
Fine.
have to do anything. They just have to say, we're putting it in production. This is the problem with these people now. We have check bar. It's like, well, it's the most diverse cast. It's a woman-centric show. It's this. It's diversity. It's that. They feel like they have to say that because
Right.
they don't trust that their movie will speak for themselves. So they have to come out all this time and be like, yeah, like we're not racist. We're like this. And people that it's like, what? That's what's
But
ruining
canon
this
and
stuff.
diversity are two completely different conversations.
I don't even think you have to. Bro, there is no canon right now. The Star Wars
Yeah,
canon is
you're not
blown
wrong.
up all over the place. And they keep changing it with every show that they bring out. And if this stuff is true with Hayden and Ahsoka, and if it's not a what if or whatever, I mean, there goes episode 3. Like, so you might as well be done with that. It's just like at this point, like, what is bro? The Han
don't know
Solo
what
canon is so bad right now. Like from the Solo film, it's like, I wouldn't even. It's mind blowing how we could go through that and say, "Hey, sir, what's your last name?" I don't know. I'm trying to hear Solo. Okay, that's your name. That's how you got Han Solo's name.
Rissman, will you tell him not to bring that shit up in my streams? He knows
knew-
just
I
to bring
knew.
that shit
You're
up.
the one who brought up canon. I'm saying they don't even have to say
Fucking
it.
pod.
I'm just saying.
It's so bad.
Talk
It's
is
so
right.
bad at
You know,
this
he's
point.
like-
And now, we've
Yeah,
got we
Kenobi, how
have
about
different
that
content
canon?
creators making up different canon. You have freaking Dave Filoni putting Mount Tantus in the Bad Batch. How does that coincide at all with what's going on in the sequel trilogy? It makes no sense.
That's
How are
what
we
I'm
gonna
trying
have
to tell
Boris
you,
Sabayoff?
X-Wing.
Like-
You brought it up. They don't have to say canon anymore because there is no canon. It's just we're just making Star Wars content. Have fun. That's my point. If they
Well,
did
and
that, if they took a breather and they came back and they're just like, and I just used the Thrawn trilogy. You guys could pick whatever, and just say, "Here we're gonna start with this one," and we're just gonna do this, and And that's it. I hope you guys enjoy it. And that's all I have to do, man. Let us theorize, let us talk, let us do this. The movie will speak for itself.
Well, and I saw a common idiot in the chat said, sell Star Wars. Why? What does it do? Right? Who's gonna buy it?
Gets
right?
it in
Sell
somebody
Star Wars.
else's hands.
Give it to Amazon, right? They did such a great job.
No.
Power, right? And this is what I mean. It's like sell it, give it. Kathleen's gone. No, none of that makes any difference at all, right? You have to have a plan. It has to be well thought out. It has to be respectful to the source material, and you have to execute against that without any external influences trying to steer you away.
Well, you're
right?
never going to get a job in Hollywood.
This is the whole same. This is the whole James Gunn thing. Oh, the Henry Cavill, and he hates him, and all this other nonsense, right? He's like, we have a 10-year plan. We're going to start executing against that. And at this point, it's like, does anyone believe him? Right? And does anyone care right now? Right? Because we've gotten so jaded on there's a plan, there's not a plan. We're restarting. We're starting again. We didn't mean it. Well, now we're fixing it. Well, we're kind of fixing it. Well, no, we meant it. It keeps going and going and going. And you're like, that's why when Avatar 2 comes out after all these years, it was like, nobody wants it. I'm like, this is great. Right? He had a plan. He took all this time to do it. They worked through it. The story was excellent.
And he waited to do it right.
It was an amazing experience. And there was, what was missing? All this fucking bullshit. It was all missing. We just went out and watched a movie.
He dropped it at the perfect time. While all these studios are screwing up everything. And he's like, hey, everybody, come enjoy Avatar 2. What are you guys going to do when they redo A New Hope?
And by the way, just to make sure everyone's clear, just to make just to make sure everyone's clear. Everyone's
keep that out. You don't even do it.
Can we all just be clear? Which studio is responsible for Avatar 2?
Fox.
Which one?
Fox.
Yeah, who owns Fox?
Disney. So it's possible.
It can be done.
Disney distributed it, and they do the marketing, but they didn't really have their hand in the production cookie jar. So, but yeah, you're right. It can be done. You can hear it here first, but I've said this many times before. Once in 10 years from Kenobi, they're gonna redo A New Hope with the same characters, the same actors. Gonna play Leia, Luke. Ewan McGregor will be 10 years older, and they're gonna
adapt it for a modern audience.
Not that I didn't bump into Ewan McGregor at any Comic-Con to have a word with him or anything like that, but I'm just saying. I just wanted to make that clear because a lot of people are like, Jay hung out with them at the Comic-Cons.
I can't wait to be 65 and just screaming in my microphone. This is bullshit. Back in my day.
Thankfully, I'll be dead then.
Is this what I'm going for? Like what line am I headed down? I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to do. I just want to enjoy the good things. Avatar 2 was something that finally had me excited again. I was happy in a movie theater. I was in my escapism lane. I was a happy boy. And now I got to wait another 13 years until we get episode 3.
Episode 3 will be out like either at the end of next year or the year after around Christmas.
You're not gonna have to wait.
It was crazy listening to James talk about it too in the interview, because he's like, they asked him, do you think it's ever going to be on like a Disney Plus? Can they ever do a streaming offshoot of Avatar? And he said, I don't think the technology is going to be there for another 5 years, which is insane because that's a 1-year turnaround on projects. And I pray to God they never put Avatar on Disney Plus, but
you mean like not in the theater?
Yeah, I don't want it to be a TV show. I don't want an Avatar TV show.
I don't think they can, because they've asked him before about Disney interference, and he's just like, I own it. They can't do anything. So
It's not. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, and he's
He
come out
said it
multiple.
in an interview. He said it's doable.
Anything's
I didn't wanna
doable.
hear
So question for Jay, after seeing it and the scuttlebutt, do you still think Avatar 2 is only going to do 1.6 billion?
Ooh.
that was my prediction.
I know. That's why I'm asking. Do you still think?
I think I'm wrong. I think it's going to do 2 billion.
Well, we're at
Like,
55
When I
past
saw that,
days,
I was
right?
like.
Well, here's the only reason I said that was because streaming services, because China's a huge market and like half of Beijing's been locked down, and so has Shanghai. So I was like, that might hurt it a little bit. People don't go to the theaters as often anymore, but the way they've been advertising this film, where it's like you're gonna see something you've never seen before in a theater. Like, don't wait, don't miss on this. And they're absolutely correct. I haven't been back to see a movie twice since.
Did you run it back?
No, I'm gonna see it again in the IMAX this time.
Nice.
But when's the last time I saw a movie twice? I think it was Endgame. I saw it twice. That's how long ago it's been. And I'm thinking that's a maybe. I haven't gone back to see a movie because usually I'm like, I've seen it once. It'll be out on DVD in 3 months, no problem. But I'm like, no, I want to see this maybe 3 or 4 times in the theater because it will not be the same on streaming, at home, on your Blu-ray, whatever. It will not even close.
Not only will it not be the same thing on streaming, but it was either your review or Ryan's or someone else's. It's like when you see it the first time, your eyes are going to so many things. Right.
That's what I said. Like I couldn't even stay with the story because I'm like watching
it was
this
you,
whole
right?
visual.
It was someone I was like, and I saw that today. I was like, I feel like I've missed something, not because I had to get up, but because I was trying to look over here and something was happening here, and then the story was over here, and I'm like, I'm sure I missed it. Right. So this is a movie that's designed for at least 2 viewings, I think, on a big screen.
At 3 hours? Yeah, at least 2, if not 3. And I'm going to go back and watch it.
Can you highlight Steve's comment? I want to share some with him. It says, sounds wimpy, but I just want to love Star Wars without feeling bad for loving what Disney is doing. Bro, listen to me, Steve. You love Star Wars till your heart content, and don't you dare feel bad. Don't you dare feel bad, man. You love it. You love every episode. You watch it. You enjoy it. You tweet about it. You talk about it. And that's what fandom is all about. Don't worry about my old behind because I don't like it. If you like it, I'm happy for you. Listen, I like Avatar. Not everybody likes Avatar. I got freaking Goonies tattoo on my arm. Some people laugh at me for that. So, Steve, don't you worry about it. You keep loving it, man. And it's a good thing. We need people like you. We need people like you. It's we just having a conversation about, what we like and what we don't like right now.
Are you gonna pump him up on Star Wars and then just shit on me 24/7?
I'm just saying,
what is going on
because
here?
it's true. I never, reality, I never want anyone to feel bad because they like something that others are not liking. Like that is not what movies and fandom is all about. Like, people should like what they like and not like what they don't like. We're having like a discussion about things and nitpicking things and things like that, which is important. I think it makes for good shows. But at the end of the day, people should never be hurt or feel guilty for what they like. Like that's just that's not what we're about, man. Like I'm happy that people find enjoyment in stuff that I don't like, because that just shows like we're not all the same. And how boring would it be if we all thought the same way?
And that
how
goes
boring
back,
would the world be?
That goes back the other way too. I hate it when you don't like something and people hound you for not liking it. And they call you all kinds of names and bad stuff for not liking a show.
Well, your takes are traditionally bad, though. I mean, you mean generally, or you mean your takes?
I don't care anymore. Like I did you? I mean, you got? Did you see what? Did you see like the tweet I put out where someone commented like, "Jay, you have the worst take in films. I'm not
You
going to
have a
watch your
Twitter?
videos, but I'm going to say subs. Did you see that? I put that out on Twitter.
No.
Yeah, and so it's like I wrote back to him. I said, please unsubscribe from my channel because I am not going to change my opinion or you or just whatever. I like what I like. I don't like. And no one should be criticized for what they like or don't like from a film. The problem what happened, like back in the Last Jedi War days on YouTube, was that people weren't engaging. People were name calling and trying to do smear campaigns if you didn't agree with them.
It was
some of that stuff kind of bleeded in with Andor, which was really weird. And even you guys saw some of it during Kenobi, where people are extremely passionate and their passion comes out, and yet they could get called racist, they could get called this, they could get called that. You're a hater, you're a shill, you're a this, you're that. And it's like, if people are genuinely liking something, they should never be discredited for that. If people are generally not liking something, they shouldn't be discredited for that either. It's just who we are.
We can talk about it though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Except
here's the difference, right? We can talk
try not
about
to
it.
Sneeze on camera. Hold on.
God bless. We can talk about it here because it's a real verbal conversation.
Whew.
Right. What happens on Twitter and in YouTube comments and other places, right, is it gets abstracted from the human part of the interaction. Right. It's all behind avatars. It's all behind keyboard warriors. Right. It's not the same kind of conversation I had earlier today sitting at the bar at the movie theater. Right. Because it's not in person. Right. It's very impersonal. And it makes it so much easier just to not even have an opinion, just to like, I'm just gonna shit on you because I'm gonna shit on you.
Yeah. Well, I've been extremely fortunate, and the people who engage in my channel and the people that I talk to have all been basically in that same mindset. They're like, hey, look, I might like this, you don't like this. We can talk about it. We can have a stream and sit here for an hour and talk about the reasons why we do or don't like the show without people starting to throw around racist and Yahtzees and things like that. So I feel blessed to have the community that I have. I appreciate everybody in the chat for contributing the way that you do in these streams. And Tim's talk right here for $5. What's the prediction this weekend, gentlemen? I'm saying 200 mil domestically. Now, I think I could be mistaken, but I thought Thursday, Friday, we hit 55 mil for Avatar, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 55 for Thursday, Friday. Saturday, Sunday are going to be much bigger days, if I had to guess.
So go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going to say, I think I saw some trade predictions or whatever that said, somewhere between 150 to 175 million for the weekend, right? And so 200 million? I don't know.
Wasn't the projection like almost 3? It was 288.
Well, it depends on if you're adding in international or not. Tim's saying domestically, so that's where I'm a little bit more iffy on it.
Domestically high was 180 was the last
180
prediction, okay. But I was gonna go a little. The reason why my prediction was a little low is because the runtime, and that's because you could with the 3.5 hour you can only get so many showings in a day. Yeah. But with that being said, they got no competition.
I was just going to say my theater was like...
Yeah, they're able to fill up more theaters at different times. Now, does every theater have that type of technology? Maybe, maybe not. That's the real question. So the fact that there's no competition, I think 200 million is a safe bet, man. It could be.
And my theater had so many IMAX showings, the Dolby showings, the real 3D showings, the regular theater. It's a 24-plex, right? So it's like everything was going on, and then you got a few other things. I'm like, they're all in. They're all in on showing Avatar 2.
When I walked
worldwide,
down the
it's supposed
row,
to be.
It was only Avatar. Walking down theater row. There was like one or two other movies showing, but it was Avatar: A Way of Water in every single bay that they had for the movie theater. There was nothing else showing.
The worldwide prediction was almost 700 million. That if that thing hits like almost $1 billion in the opening weekend, that's unbelievable. That is unbelievable because I know like now like school is out for holiday break, for Christmas break, and so now they're gonna want to take stuff to do for the kids. The only other movie that's out there is I think Puss in Boots opens up.
Yeah.
I think, and then so that's literally it. Aquaman was supposed to open up, that didn't. Shazam, that didn't. They pushed all those things back. Well, of course, WB now is a mess. They don't know what's going on. There's no point in even watching Aquaman or Flash or Shazam anymore because they're doing a reboot. So they're just like, well, we finished these movies. You can watch if you want. So it's like you can't drop a movie at a more perfect time than this weekend. James Cameron like nailed this weekend. I'm telling you, man, there's no competition. The studios are a mess. People are mad. It's like
he not only did he nail it, but the other studios are like, I'm not fucking with Jim Cameron.
Yeah, that's true.
Fuck this. It's Jim fucking Cameron.
You're going up against the sequel to the highest grossing film of all time. Like, yeah, I wouldn't release against it either.
It's a week before Christmas, right? What if people are going to the theater to watch a movie for Christmas? What do we think they're going to watch? They're gonna watch this movie.
Santa Claus 9.
No, they're not gonna watch Violent Night, right? They're gonna watch this movie.
A lot of people are hyped about Silent Night and Cocaine Bear, or Violent Night and Cocaine Bear.
I saw Violent Night. It is what it is.
Yeah. That's not the kind of popcorn movie I'm interested in. You know what I mean?
It's basically an R-rated Home Alone.
Oh, okay. Maybe
like
now I'm interested.
Booby traps and stuff, and like it's like what would happen if it in like
I knew he was gonna say that.
Cocaine Bear doesn't come out till March, so
yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, that's what I had for topics tonight.
I'll be in Vegas in January. Do you think X-Wing will come visit me? Probably not.
Nah.
In January?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see it, but every time I bring you on my channel, you're just like, shut the fuck up. I'm going to run this stream. You know what? It's about me.
Hold on. First, you complained I wasn't talking enough. Now. All right. Now I'm not saying anything. I'll be in California in February.
Now I got to go to Vegas and California. Is that your Disney trip? Is February?
Super Nintendo World.
Yeah, it's opening February the 20th?
17th, yeah.
17th, yeah.
Where?
In Universal
Hollywood.
Hollywood, yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to Universal Hollywood.
I've never either. I heard it's really small.
Yeah.
And it's
Disneyland is tiny. You've never been to Disneyland though, huh?
Nah, I never. I stayed away from California.
Bro, so if you don't like the Magic Kingdom, that's Disneyland.
Well, they got Avengers Campus over there, and what sucks
it's like 100 feet long. It's sick.
What sucks is like I'm gonna go there and like Indiana Jones will be the one ride I want to do is going under refurbishment, so it's not going to be open.
The real Indy?
Yeah, it's going to be. It's not going to reopen till the summer.
Dude, that sucked. If I was going to pick one ride for you to ride, it'd be that.
So
that's what I've never done it. That's what I wanted to see.
So when we were there, we were gonna. I was like, the one ride I want to do is that Indiana Jones ride, and it was like a 100-minute wait or something ridiculous, and then it went down. So we went and did our thing, and we just happened to come by, and it just reopened. So we were like, we just walked on. It was amazing.
Isn't it a great ride?
It's dinosaur. It's
dinosaur, but times like 100 better.
Ride, but it's not so dark, and it's Indiana Jones, and it was like
you ride through the Temple of Doom. You're literally in the Temple of Doom. It's
you must do it. It's a
Jay's starting to get depressed right now. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. Anymore. I will be. At the end of the day, I love theme parks. It's an addiction. So I think I'll enjoy it anyway, just to see it for the first time.
You're gonna love California Adventure, I think, way more than Disneyland.
I just want to do some of the old classic rides that they still have there, and
Matterhorn.
I've never done
The thing about Disneyland that I had forgotten is the castle is shrimpy.
Oh, it's tiny.
It's like a little tiny.
Oh, yeah.
thing. But everything, it's so compressed, right? So it's like Frontierland and Adventureland, and it's literally, they're right next to each other, right? So you can walk the whole thing in a minute because it's all they had. So
I want to do Cars. Like I hear Cars is pretty cool.
It's Test Track.
Well, that's in DCA, right? Cars Land. It's there. It's an outside.
Oh, that's in California Adventure.
It is, yeah.
Where's that roller coaster? That white roller coaster? That's like
that's in California.
Yeah. Oh my God, they have all the good stuff over there.
That's in Credit Coaster.
Everything good is in yeah. So you can rehash a lot of memories in Disneyland. If you're a Disney World guy.
Credit Coaster is it's the fucking Toy Story coaster.
No,
oh, really?
Basically.
Can I fit in it?
Yeah, but it's the Slinky Dog Dash. That's
no. There's a Slinky Dog Dash, and then there's it used to be called California Screamin', and the California Screamin' and Credit Coaster, they launch you at 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, but Slinky Dog Dash it's a combo between.
Did Slinky Dog have a loop?
I forgot, but it's a combination between Rock and Roller Coaster and Slinky Dog Dash.
Yeah, it feels more like Rock and Roller Coaster.
Well, that said, Disneyland has 55 plus rides alone.
Yeah,
50 rides in Disneyland?
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, if Disney World is at a third capacity and then you went to Disneyland with the same crowd, it's going to feel like the busiest day in Disney World.
Wow.
It is packed 24/7.
But I have to say, we felt more constrained from crowds at DCA than we did at Disneyland.
Oh, I had the opposite experience.
That's why we went to Grand California, and that's when we met you. When I saw you.
Yeah, that's when I saw you at DCA.
Yeah, I was like, I had to get out of DCA, so I mean, like, we were just sitting there drinking, and then we went back in for the colors thing, and I was like,
I'll meet you at DCA, Jay. How about that? Sound good? You got to ride Grizzly River Rapids. I
want to ride everything, so it's like if I go there, it'll be like 3 days.
Yeah.
Of like
you can definitely do it in
live
a day.
Streaming. I mean, like first time I'm there, and then if I can make it, I want to do Knott's Berry Farm. So look at my calendar next year. I'm trying to like chill. So January 9th through 11th, I'm going to be in Mexico finishing up the orphanage, and then the 17th through the 21st, I'll be in Vegas for SHOT Show. Then February, I'm going to be at Universal Studios.
Show?
Yeah, I'm part of Nine Line. I'm going to be at their booth.
Where's the invite?
Me?
Yeah.
Nine Line's sponsoring me to go.
No, I mean, where was my invite?
Well, I haven't got all the details yet. They're putting me in the Trump hotel or whatever. Which is kind of cool, but whatever. And then
plenty of floor space. I'll bring a sheet.
February, all the G&G, like a ton of us are going to go to Universal. And then when they come back to Florida, I'm going to break off and go to Disneyland and meet Orange Grove and Anna, that Star Wars girl, and all these people are going to meet me down there to do the Disneyland thing for a couple days. And then Knott's Berry Farm is somewhere around there. I heard that's kind of neat. So
yeah,
I want to go there as well. Maria says, Jay, you done Busch Gardens, right? Yeah. Both Virginia and the Virginia one's really cool, and the one that's down the street from my home. So
I haven't been to any other SoCal theme parks but Disneyland and DCA.
Knott's Berry Farm, it's a fun.
Aren't they next to each other? Like you can just walk across the street.
Super.
Oh,
I don't know about
DCA and Disneyland are like.
Yeah, Disneyland and California Adventure, it's like a 20-second walk. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
DCA is
the park gates are like this.
What other park were you talking about?
Knott's Berry Farm.
DCA.
Oh.
Yeah, DCA.
You said you've only X-Wing says he's only been to what park in California?
Those two.
Disneyland. So DL and DCA. Disneyland and Disney California.
Oh, and they're right next to each other.
Yeah, the gates are 100 feet away from each other.
DCA is basically their Hollywood Studios, right? If you walk, it looks like Hollywood Studios as you walk in.
It's like old San Francisco Main Street, and then you go into Cars Land, and then they kind of have like this big California mountain thing going on.
Gotcha. Yeah, that'd be fun. Hey, man, never been.
You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it a lot.
I
And
only
I'll
live
be
once,
honest
man.
with you.
Let me do my thing, you know.
My fiance, my wife was super mad about Hollywood Tower Terror getting converted to the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's good. The Guardians of the Galaxy Hollywood Tower Terror is good. They whip the crap out of you. It's so different.
Did you ride the Cosmic Rewind when you were here? Was that open?
I did. Yeah, I enjoyed it, man.
That's
I
pretty
really
cool.
enjoyed it. Yeah, when you going around the moon, it was so cool.
Well, after that, let's see, February, March, April. Hopefully, I'll be in my 3-month road trip around America. I'm gonna try to hit every theme park.
Ooh,
Cool.
you should come to the Reno Animal Zoo.
I'm gonna go up.
They got like
east,
5 goats.
Just skip Reno.
Legoland, New York. Come Cedar Point, Kings Island, Kings Dominion, Busch Gardens again. Go through the Midwest, like all the little, like they have some mining theme park up north. Some really cool stuff. That's
A mining theme park? That sounds dope.
It's a theme, like it's like miners and it's all these roller coasters and stuff, and like
That sounds fun.
Dollywood and all that. Then hit the West Coast. There's like all kinds
So
of.
will you pay me a salary for a year and I'll just go with you?
So how's Star Wars working out?
Not great.
Yeah.
So bad.
I meant my actual job salary. All right, everybody. It has been a wonderful time. We've been going for 2 hours. It's the longest stream I've ever gone without having to take a pee-pee break. So
You're
glad having
growing
everybody
as a
here.
creator. I'm very
I
proud
must
of you.
be. I must be. I don't know how you make it 4 hours, and I see you like hydrating the whole time too. Where does it all go, Jay?
Well, I have no pants on, and there's a giant bucket under the table with a hose attached.
Got a catheter, man.
So if you see me like,
He's stucking.
No.
Okay, that's enough. Family-friendly channel. No, we're not. Everybody, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. As always, my co-host Matt Rissman. Thank you so much for being
that is
here.
awesome, man. Make sure y'all follow him on Twitter if you have a Twitter account.
I start making my end statements. He can't help himself. He's like, yeah. By the way, it's
no.
ridiculous.
Oh my.
There's another guy here as well. Yeah, he's an influencer, so go follow that.
You can get my
Everybody have
hat
it.
and shirt at 9 Line Apparel. Just use
I
code
ordered your hat.
DRUNK20. Oh, you did? Which one?
I'm so excited. I got the OD green. Welcome to the Rebellion.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so pumped. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice hat.
You know what's
Hopefully it
cool
gets here
about
before
that?
Christmas.
I bumped into somebody in Orlando with that hat, the
saw.
OD green one,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, a hat. He had no idea who I was.
Oh no.
So literally, he must have seen the hat on the website and like, that's a cool hat, and bought it. And I'm like a freaking idiot. Like, dude, man, I'm like trying to talk to him. He's like, yeah, you can get it on 9 Line Apparel. And I'm like,
Thanks, bro. Send me the link.
how embarrassing. So but that was when I walked away, my brother was with me. He was just like roasting me. He's like, the guy didn't know who you were, dude. I'm like, well, at least he bought a hat. Like, that means it's cool. People bought a hat. Anyway.
There you go, man. That's Jay, drunk 3PO. Friends with everybody famous. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Always.
Everybody have a good night. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye all.